my channel. This week I'm doing things a little differently. I do not have my laptop in front of me. I have a, as I wrote, quick notes version of the blog, so I'm not constantly reading off screen and, you know, not looking at you. So hopefully this will, you know, because I've just got quick little notes here that there's nothing descriptive, there's nothing, I just have it all, you know, the bullet points written down here to talk about. So hopefully I will spend more time looking at the screen and less time with my eyes off camera. But considering I just said all that with the majority of my eyes being anywhere but at the camera, it's, you know, dealer's choice on how we'll do. This week we have another character breakdown, and we are diving into a book series this week, and it is the Sherilyn Kenyon. It is her Darkware Dream series-ish. It's the one that takes place in New Orleans. All that fun stuff. And my character for it, Evangalyne. Description. I procrastinated and thought long and thought hard and thought entirely too much for my brain to appreciate about the proper way to describe and give a summary, a brief summary of the Dark Hunter series. And my mom can attest, I was staring at a blank blog post for a long while, but I think I have it down to the bare basics of what you need to know to understand Ava, as she's more commonly known. The Dark Hunter series revolves around 7 different groups. You have the Dark Hunters, who are the immortal warriors brought back to life after a horrific death by the goddess Artemis. They hunt the things that go bump in the night. Demons, daemons, stupid humans. They're not technically supposed to do that, though. They can't go out in the sun. They have fangs. They're not vampires. Before anyone goes there, they're not vampires. They are not vampires. None of these guys are vampires. But they're basically immortal badasses that hunt the things that go bump in the night to keep the humans safe. After them, we have the were hunters. These guys are mortal, but they do live for a couple hundred years. They are mortal. They are either born as an animal or as a human, and when they reach puberty, they can shift into the other form. They're called were hunters, like I said. They come in all different types of animals, not just wolves, but all different types. You got jaguars, you got birds, you got dragons, you got wolves, bears, you name it. You know, except for jackals. I'm pretty sure those are the ones that Savitar wiped out. Off topic. After the were hunters, you have the dream hunters. They are the cursed children of the Greek dream gods who have the ability to go into people's dreams and walk through their dreams and occasionally mess with the people's minds. As is attested by the fact that they had a grudge with Zeus and made him fall in love with a goat. That's a whole other story, though. Creatures that go bump in the night start off as Acolytes. They are a race of beings that were created by the god Apollo when Zeus claimed his race, the humans, were high and mighties. Apollo decided he could do better, thus he made the Acolytes. They die on their 27th birthday, but it is a very slow, painful death. They literally disintegrate before the eyes of their families the entire day. They can only survive by drinking the blood of their own kind. There are the Acolytes who decided they didn't want to die, and they learned how to extend their lives, and they are called the Daemons. They are the primary targets of the Dark Hunters. Daemons are Acolytes that, as I said, are not prepared to die. They are not prepared to die, and they extend their lives by taking human souls, living human souls. So they will attack a human and literally drain them of their soul. After those guys, we have the gods. You know, the high and mighties. We have many different pantheons. Like, literally, I can't even count all the pantheons we have. We have the Atlanteans, we have the Greeks, we have Sumerians, we have Vikings, we have, there's just, I can't even keep track of them all. But they are, you know, the high and mighty powers, although they do get their asses handed to them quite regularly. And then after them, we have the others. The others are beings that either have too many different specifications to be put into one category, or the idea of trying to categorize them will cause you a migraine. If you're interested in hearing more about the Dark Hunter series, or you want to read the books, I'm going to leave a link down in the description for Sherilyn's website, which will have everything you want to know about everything, and you can join in the awesome confusion that is this author's life. And you can also find the books anywhere that sells adult fantasy. Adult romantic fantasy. You know what I mean. I created Ava in probably one of my most naive moments, and it was in an effort to, if I had a character, maybe I would understand things better. No. Horribly no. And no. It didn't work like that. But I also wanted, Ava was also one of the leader of the Dark Hunters. His name is Ashron. He's the type of character where he's solitary for a reason. He has an extremely painful past. His history is, it made me cry. And I wanted him to have something that couldn't be taken away from him. Outside of his demon child, which she literally confused herself to his skin, so. But I wanted him to have something that he knew without a doubt he could trust. He knew without a doubt would never turn on him. And that's where Ava came in. She is his little sister. But that's part of the reason I created Ava as well, is Ash needed a reason to be happy outside of few spurt moments. I wanted him so much. I wanted him just... That tends to be why I make a lot of my characters, is I just want them to be happy. I want something to bring them joy. And that is literally why I created Ava. I didn't want to make her a child for Ash, because that's a whole other story for him that is very complicated. So I decided on a sister, although that is complicated too, but it works better than one would think. See? It's confusing! The easiest part of writing Ava, though, is her lifestyle. She and Ash, you see them coming, and they literally look like the baddest things walking this planet, and they kind of are. They dress in all black, most of the time in all leather. They're wearing sunglasses all the time. They've got long dark hair, or Ava had long dark hair, but that's a whole other story. Ash is almost 7 feet tall. Ava's only a few inches shorter than him. So they're literally towers of badassery. And I love writing that. I mean, I myself could never hope to attain that. 1, I'm too short. 2, I'm too round. And 3, nobody seems to take me seriously. But anyway, but they're just like the utopium of badassery, and I absolutely love writing that for Ava. It's just so much fun, where she can literally just peek at someone over the top of her sunglasses, cock a brow, and they're wetting themselves. Okay, that is how badass these two are, and I love that about Ava. I love it when any of my characters can be like that. But usually it's, you know, just bits and pieces here and there where they're doing it. For Ava, it literally bleeds from her pores just being around her. You immediately know. You see her and you immediately know, fuck with her, and it's the last thing you will ever do. The hardest part of writing Ava is the fact that the book series isn't over. And Sherilyn Kenyon, God bless this woman, she is our goddess, but she has this habit of each book focuses on a single character. There are other characters around that you see repeated multiple times, but it focuses on a single character and their story, their main story. So it tells you about their past, their present, and how they're going to get to their future. It gives you the hero and the heroine. It's amazing. But it seems like with each book, she unleashes little secrets that changes everything that came before it. So every time I write something for Ava, I literally have to think to myself, okay, there has to be somewhere where I can rewrite this but for it to still work, because at some point she's going to give us something where I will be like, okay, this doesn't work anymore, I have to rewrite it. That is the hardest part, is I'm constantly writing with the notion in the back of my mind that at some point I may have to rewrite this. It has taken me a very long time for even the base core of who Ava is to feel solid, to feel like no matter what Sherry releases, I'm not gonna have to change her. And that took a very long time. That's another hard part of writing Ava, is just figuring out who she was, figuring out how to iron out her character, what her story was going to be, and how she was going to be able to change things, or not change things. And it was just, I will give a more detailed description of exactly what Ava is later on in the video, but for now, just, Sherilyn, just let it all go at once, please, because you're killing me here. Best memory for Ava. Ava has not as hard a past as her brother, but her past is no walk in the park. And there are very few truly good memories for her, and it was hard to pick of the truly good memories which ones were the best, but I managed to narrow it down to 2. Be happy for that. It was 4 before, but I managed to narrow it down to 2. And the first one is when Ash, her brother, gets married. Like I said, Ash's past is turbulent to say the least. It is, you wouldn't wish it upon your worst enemy. And to finally see him be able to love openly and not be afraid of the consequences of doing so, and letting someone else into his life who isn't bound to him because he's their leader, or isn't bound to him because they're blood and siblings. It's, up until that point, there is no greater moment for Ava than seeing the true happiness in her brother. There is nothing at that time that could have made her happier than to see Ash that happy. Her other best memory is for herself, and it is the birth of her twins, Abraxas Ambrose and Amathea Apollonie. I'll get into their birth a little bit later, because it unfortunately has to do with worst memory, but up until their birth, Ava had never taken anything for herself. Her life, much like Acheron, her life was about helping others, putting others first. And when she falls pregnant with her twins, suddenly her life has to be about her. It has to be about these 2 little lives she's carrying inside her. She has to start thinking of herself first, start thinking of what she has to do for herself to make sure that her babies are okay. And when they're born, there's never been a moment in her life like the birth of her twins. That feeling of completeness that she gets when those 2 little bodies are laid down on her chest, and she's just looking at them, and this is her little boy and her little girl, and she's just looking at them, and they are her entire world laying right there, and she has never had a moment like that, and it was just absolutely beautifully perfect. Unfortunately, conception for the twins was made traumatic by Ava's worst memory, which was when she was only a few thousand years old, because gods live forever and she is, on one of her levels, a god. When she was only a few thousand years old, she was attacked by the Daemon leader, Stryker. And when I say attacked, I do mean raped. I didn't actually want that to be part of her past. It sort of wrote itself, so I felt it was meant to be there. But she never wanted to feel that feeling of helplessness ever again. So her worst memory is, it's 2 tied together because they go together. So the attack from Stryker started it all. But then when she falls pregnant with Abraxas and Amathea, she has no recollection of the conception. It was erased from her memory. She has no idea who their father is. She has no idea how it happened, when it happened, and all over again, she feels violated, she feels raped all over again. So her entire pregnancy up until the twins are born is spent angry and humiliated and just so many other things. And it's very hard for her to embrace, up until the moment that the twins are born, it is very hard for her to embrace the idea of becoming a mother, because it was thrust upon her without her okay. She doesn't know anything about, like I said, she doesn't know anything about the conception. She doesn't know anything about any of it. And it is very hard. It is a very hard time for her, trailing all the way back to when Stryker attacked her. Now let's get into a description of what Ava actually is. She was born an Atlantean goddess. Her mother is Apollome, her father is Eudor. She is 21 years younger than Acheron. She's born 3 days before his 21st birthday. And when she was first born, majority of the Atlantean gods have swirling silver eyes and pale white blonde hair. Don't let Ava's current hair color fool you. Her hair color is Snow White. When she was born, she had swirling gold eyes and snow white hair. But as she got older, and with a certain triggering event within her life, when she's only a few days old, her hair and eyes turn to match that of the rest of the pantheon. So she, for all intents and purposes, is still an Atlantean goddess. She is the goddess of ocean, waters, and witchcraft. Pretty much meaning don't piss her off, you'll regret it. But shortly around the time that Acheron's second son is born, a new power is unlocked inside Ava. She reverts back to her snow white hair and golden eyes, swirling golden eyes. And the amount of power she has in her, she didn't even know was possible for one being to feel. She is what is known as the Eve, or Destroyer of Power, as is her official title, which, you know, her brother is the Harbinger of Destruction, so these two. She goes from being a goddess to falling into the other category when the Eve powers are unlocked, because she is so much more than that now. She can literally bind a god's powers, take them away, give them to someone else. She can erase someone from existence entirely. And the worst part is she doesn't have control over it yet. So that's what Ava is as of right now. Confusing, deadly, and untapped. And she's only going to get worse. And yes, her babies will inherit some of this power. And when I created Ava, it was to hopefully work out some of the confusion of this series. If anything, I'm even more confused. And I've managed to make Ava even more confusing because of it all. So, yay me. Now I just want to keep writing Ava, fitting her in where I can, working her in where I can, trying to resist the urge to strangle Sherilyn, but I'm sure she gets that all the time, because there's no way that my mom and I can be the only ones who read the books and goes, what the but that is our character breakdown for Evangalyne Parthenopaeus. Yes, I had to do that to her, and her twins. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Let me know down in the comments below if you are one of us. If you are, who's your favorite character? And if you can't pick just one, which I can't, leave the list. I'll leave my list of favorite characters down below. As always, all of my social media will be down in the description below, along with my blog if you want to read the post that goes along with this video. It is not any less confusing than what you just sat through. I'm sorry, but that's just how the book series goes. Remember to hit the thumbs up button if you did enjoy the video. Also hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and turn on your little notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload. Also, don't forget to turn the options for your notifications to all so you actually get all your notifications. I don't know if I will see you guys next week. If I do, it will be with another character breakdown, skipping over our 4th week random video, because I don't have everything I need yet for that, and I am going to be in no state to film it next week. So we'll go with one more character breakdown, and then we'll do that video, because it is going to be the Halloween special for the year, because you know I'm me. And I want to give it good and careful thought. So until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.